Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's that time. Vibration. The feelings. Good evening. 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 It is a Wednesday, June 17th, 2026. I want to welcome you guys to Unveiled Vibrations, where we're going to have the conversation tonight. This has been a long awaited conversation. So, tonight's show, we're going to be discussing the strange, the speculated, the much talked about in close quarters because of how weird it is. The aliens, demons, angels. I am about to drop this link in the chat for everyone to be welcome aboard. And oh my God. You guys say you can't hear me? Well, why is that? The mic is on. What is going on? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay. We're good. Testing my speakers on StreamYard. Sounds like they're working. Ladies and gents, my beautiful people. This is a conversation that I desire to hear much of what you guys think. And I'll interject what my thoughts and feelings are in the conversation. So, hold on. Live on panel. I don't know if I spelled it right. I don't care either. It don't matter. Grab the link and I'll see you in 1 minute. So we can have this conversation live tonight on Unveiled. Hey, y'all. We live, baby. We here. I would like to thank you for joining us tonight for this conversation and welcome you to join me up here live. Tonight we have Dustin Butler in the house with us. Welcome to the show. We also have the lovely Auntie Robin is here. She says, "Hey, Unveiled. If I don't return for the live, it's because I fell asleep. But I need help. As I came to YouTube for Jonathan's live, I discovered why I couldn't find you last night." Understood. She said, "Once again, I am clueless about the days of the week because I sure wonder why you weren't on last evening." Yeah, these days of the week been running too close, very too close. And then the sun don't go down like it used to. You know, it's it's, it's weird. Sometimes and the sun don't go down until way in the night, according to the other daylight savings time hours. We'll get used to it eventually. Amir's in the house. Hi, Mamir. She says, "Hi, everyone. I hope everyone had a great day and is now enjoying a nice, relaxing evening as well." She gives the full banner of colors for the Pride Month. Love to everyone. Absolutely. JoJo Speaks is here. Welcome, my dude. Glad to see you. He says, "Hey, y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's free. It helps this channel grow. It helps us reach new and exciting eyeballs and potential new voices to come up here and have conversations with. Do it. It's free. It doesn't hurt. Not at all." Mamir says, "Hey, JoJo, good to see you." Auntie says, "I made it. Yeah. Glad to see you here, Auntie." So does Mamir. She says, "Good to see you." Says, hey, back. I love the pleasantries here. I love it. I love it a lot. Okay, sounds fine. Audio's good. Okay. Yeah. Man. There it is. Yeah, Auntie Robin said, don't you go pushing no buttons. We got you, Auntie. Uh, Something was wrong with the iPad. It happens. Technology. Those that want to join in the conversation tonight, this is the link right here in the chat. If it disappears, just let me know. I will throw it back down there. We have Lady Virgo's here tonight. We have the lovely Miss Kim. Good to see you, my dear. She says, hey, y'all. Are we talking about aliens tonight? Yes, we are. Hey, from Mamir to Lady Virgo. Lady Virgo says hello to everyone. Mamir says hello to Miss Kim. So great to see you. So excited to talk alien. And Lady Virgo says hello, Auntie Robin. Are you ready for tomorrow? JoJo Speaks is tomorrow. It's my night tonight. It's all good though. Wednesday. It's all good. Oh yeah. Lady Burger says hello to Dustin and Miss Kim. Prophetic Fireback is here. She says hello. Welcome. She said, my mistake. You guys, I meant happy Wednesday. It's all right. We still love you. And Lady Burger says hello to you, Prophetic Fire Reiki. And then Prophetic Fire Reiki says, do the Ghostbusters assist with aliens? They should. But they don't. But they should. Something strange in the neighborhood? Who you going to call? Ghostbusters? Maybe in Men in Black. I don't know. Who jurisdiction that really falls under sometimes. Auntie Robert says, hello. Very ready. I'm going to be watching on my telephone, my iPad, and my TV. And go Knicks! Definitely want to get that out. The pleasantries out for the Knicks. Congratulations is in order to the New York Knicks for winning the NBA Finals after 53 years drought. Do y'all believe in magic? I hope you do, because the Knicks won. And some people are like, man, New York needed this. With everything that is going on outside, New York needed this. And I absolutely believe that. And shout out to the Knicks for deciding to decline to go to the White House to celebrate with the commander of Kinkles. And stay at home and be in a place where you're fully welcome and celebrated, not just paraded around for spectacles. Without no further ado, I'm gonna get into this convo tonight. My guest with me tonight is the lovely, beautiful Amir.
Hello.
Amir's in the house.
Hey. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome sauce. How are you doing, Mr. TD McCollum?
I am wonderful. It is great hearing your voice. Oh
I
my
know we've
gosh.
never talked. You've never heard me. And by the way, my name is Danny. You don't have to call me Mamere. Unless you want to. It
Johnny?
just means grandma.
I love them both. I just got used to we got used to it,
I know. And you know what?
all this time,
Because my grandkids call me Mamere, so my kids call me Mamere. My husband will call me Mamere. It's just, I answer to it all the time anyways. So it's legit. It's not really like an anonymous name because my family calls me Mamere.
Oh, well, we love it either way. Donnie or
Yeah.
Mamere.
What up? So I'm
Man,
so
where do
excited to
we
talk about
start?
this.
Like, this is a topic that I have wanted to talk about with people publicly, but have been so ashamed to talk about it because of how weird it is. You know, like the weirdness of, are aliens real? Are they just stuff that were made up, and then how far does it really go?
Deep.
How can we really explain angels and demons? Are they aliens, just not what we would normally call them, because a religion has told us to call them demons and angels?
It's kind of like a rose by any other name is still a rose, though, right? Like we call them
I
aliens, we call them demons. Like with deep state disclosure now, like with like the government getting involved and releasing
Yeah,
stuff, it's not a weird topic anymore. It's like mainstream now.
and these last 6 months, it has become more mainstream than it has ever been before, because of the release of documents, because there's video footage that we're now being able to see on our own and come up with our own opinions.
Have you ever seen one?
Have I actually seen an alien?
Like or like anything in the sky that you can't see? You know, like
I
explain, I mean.
I have seen some stuff in the sky that I can't explain, and I was like, well, I'm just not going to talk about that with nobody.
We I
Because
seen
it was crazy
I
to.
saw one of the Tic Tacs and I was with my son. So, and
Mhm.
he's just a kid, right, at the time. So it was like two of us to tell the story. But it was just like you had seen on TV, like a silver Tic Tac that was moving absurdly and stuff like that. But then we just live south of like an airbase,
Oh
army
yeah.
airbase type thing. And I've heard since then that they are just really high tech drones.
Hmm.
But I don't know, like, who knows, right? But I did see a Tic Tac.
Now, for me, growing up in the Washington D.C. area, uh, very close to several Air Force bases and major airport, we seen some stuff.
I bet.
And I remember growing up one time as a kid that I happened to be outside looking up at the sky one night, and I just seen a ring of lights. Like, it was a large ring of lights, and it would just oscillate the lights
Oh, wow.
as it moved in tandem in like a circular pattern like this.
What was the feeling you got? Were you scared or were you just like in awe and shock?
I was in awe. I was like, that ain't an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? And why is it doing that? And, it will happen periodically, like, say, like every 3 years. It would just be something in the sky, something weird like that going on. And, like, I want to say, like, the late 80s going into the early 90s, like mid 90s, like close to like 95, 96, is when it be reported on the news locally that
Oh.
people had saw stuff in the sky, and it was like, oh really?
When
Do
did
tell.
that big thing in Texas happen? Do you remember when they had that huge sighting in Texas? Like
Um,
everybody saw it and it was like lights the size of a football field. I don't know how
gosh.
close where you live to Texas is, but
Um, now that I'm in Georgia, I don't remember hearing about too much from Texas. Outside of, there were a couple of random people that said that they were abducted by aliens
that's scary
growing up.
stories when you get into abductions.
And there were a couple people in West Virginia, which is fairly close to the Washington D.C. area. It's pretty much a neighbor of Washington D.C. They were several people in West Virginia that were reporting, like, from the late 80s to the early 2000s, that were like, yeah, buddy of mine got abducted. I don't know what happened. I haven't seen him. And then all of a sudden he appears and he started acting weird. It's like,
Wow.
whoa,
See,
what is
the
that
States
about?
has had way more activity than Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Way more. And it's been in the news down there longer because you guys have had sightings, like mass
Right,
sightings
right.
for us. The first time it really hit the news was when that Texas thing happened because so many people saw it. But other than that, we never heard you were a nut bar if you even talked about it up here.
Absolutely. Like, I remember growing up, and the the crop circles became a
Mm.
big thing here in the States, where over in Oklahoma, you had them over in Nebraska. What was another state? Colorado had a few of them, and I think Wyoming and New Mexico were like the two biggest notorious of having these crop circles and designs, and everybody's like capturing footage of little flying saucers coming in and imprinting stuff in the ground and then zipping off out of our atmosphere. And people were like, what was that? The government is not going to tell us the truth. Now they're telling stories now.
And they're very, I wonder how much of it is just them controlling the narrative. Like, even though they're
Mm-hmm.
disclosing stuff, I have like little to no trust in the government at all. And if you look back
Absolutely.
to when a lot of like the abductions and stuff started happening, they started happening around like 1940, right around like this
Right.
New Jersey naval
Right.
base, right? And it's just so suspicious that right around where the Navy is, and they were doing all these weird tests during the wartime times, that there was such a huge increase. It's a little coincidental.
I heard whispers of that growing up. That is weird. Like, okay, so the whispers I heard, people were complaining about being abducted by aliens, but then they said it was actually government officials from the military kidnapping people and doing
Yep.
biological tests on them in the region.
Or if you want to get really dark, it ties in to the demonic ritual, satanic abuse as well. The
Right.
stories are very similar, like the tragedies and the horrors that they go through. So it's kind of they're just like paralleled when you start putting them together. It's so weird.
And some of the more fascinating stuff that I came across growing up in the mid '90s to early 2000s were the stuff that was kind of snuck out to us on TV shows like the X Files, the Roswell TV show,
Oh yeah.
where they were like just barely fictitious enough for it to be like that would never really happen, huh? But then when you start hearing real stories from real people, and 60 Minutes was good at putting these stories out. Uh, Dateline was another one that was putting out these stories and having real people interviewed about what they saw. It began to get a little too real for society.
Yeah. Too
And
scary.
that's where you start to see them start to really reel back in what they were releasing to the public because they didn't want the mass hysteria to happen.
Well, like what was that? When did that War of the Worlds broadcast happen? They did that joke about the alien invasion on the radio and people lost their minds.
Yeah,
It ended up in tragedy. So
yeah.
they got to be careful. We're a fragile species. We can only handle so much.
And that just reminds me, like back during the pandemic, where there was this incident in Miami at the mall. Like you'd be hard pressed to find articles, videos, and photos from what happened at the mall. And what I remember everybody talking about it, what happened in real time, because uh, a lot of the footage was on Twitter and Instagram. And this was way before TikTok really blew up. Now, TikTok blew up because it had the most videos at that time. And what happened was people were saying that they saw like this orb like situation appear near the mall in the middle of the street, and these creatures crawled out of it
Oh,
and were walking around in the vicinity, and all of Miami PD was sent there immediately, guns blazing, because they did not know what was going on. And they shut down the area like within a large perimeter to prevent anything from happening outside of that. And then all of a sudden they said the creatures went back into the orb like a vacuum, sucked them back in, and the orb vanished into thin air. All the people that were there said the government contacted them, asked them about any video footage, any photos, any of that. People that didn't come out and say anything noticed that the materials that they did capture magically just disappeared off their devices within days.
what?
It is a phenomenon that has still gone unexplained.
Their phones got wiped. That's spooky.
It is extremely spooky that everyone that was there within a couple of years disappeared
No.
without a trace.
You see,
No one
I
can
never
find them.
could find any information about this Miami Mall thing in Canada. This is the
Hmm.
most I've ever heard of it. I'm just gobsmacked right now. It
And
came out of an orb,
this is what people were describing, that they
and
were,
everybody said the same thing. Like this was not. This was
everybody
not.
said the same thing. There were there was no discrepancies in what was said because it was said multiple times, not three, four times. No, this is 10, 15, 20 times people are saying what they saw.
And the
And
videos were all white because I've never been able to find any footage of it ever.
you can't find it. They were
Hmm.
out there for maybe a max of 3 days, 3.5
Wow.
days at max. And everything was completely wiped off the internet.
And it was an orb. Do you remember the part of the alien disclosure from the government is they showed a video and there was a glowing egg-shaped orb at the bottom of the ocean, and
Uh
that
huh.
guy, the submarine, went down and picked it up?
Yep.
Yeah. That's interesting because that ties in to the argument of it being demons too. There's a
Right.
orb egg-shaped lore involved in that whole theology of it as well. And like there's murmurs, of course, that the Navy has that like alien cult, deep-seated alien cult that's pulling strings and all that kind of stuff. And then the Navy goes and gets the orb, and oh, it's so creepy. And then the orb, wow, I wish we could find video of the Miami stuff.
I wish I could. Like,
What did the
as
aliens look like?
they described them as lizard like and incredibly tall.
Were they like the Great Grays type guys? You know, the tall, skinny ones with the big heads, the scary ones, or
Yeah. That's what a lot of them describe them as, like forearm walking
oh,
lizard like figures that could stand up on their hind legs, stand up like a man, and then go back down on all fours and walk, is what they described. And I was like, whoa, what?
oh,
And
that's
then
terrifying.
what was crazy about it, like the days coming after everything was scrubbed from the internet that anybody could find, they just had, oh, no, no, it was, there was a commotion. Somebody was fighting in the food court, and everybody, all the children were out there. They went running around and they were just causing commotion. There was none of that.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no such thing as aliens were there.
And then everybody went mute that saw. All the witnesses have just gone like dark.
Everybody went dark. And it
Wow.
was just like, what is going on? Now, what was funny about that, there was another video that came out that was, I would say, a preamble to this event, of a guy who said um, he knew of some people that took a submarine in a particular part of our ocean and found the ocean within the ocean. And it
What?
was a wall like, gel like barrier between that ocean and our ocean. And
Wow.
the military, all the military is within the region, swarmed on them. And when they resurfaced, every last one of those people that were on that submarine disappeared. Was
Wow.
never heard from ever again.
And they're always, you always hear that they say, oh, it's, they're coming from the water. Like the government was saying, they're coming from the water. And
Now,
there's that lake up in Peru or whatever where people are
yes,
always seeing them come and go, more craft type stuff. Or no, I think are those orbs they see come and go
They
from
see
that lake?
orbs that's been coming out of the lake, and um, there's a couple other regions like near Brazil that they've been seeing stuff coming out of the water, and even on the west coast of America, out in the Pacific, they were saying that they were seeing these crafts. They didn't really go into great detail of the craft that they saw come up out of the ocean and fly right past them. And they sent aircrafts to chase after them to find out what it was. And they, as soon as they got close enough to try and grab a glimpse of it, it flew right back down into the ocean away from them
Oh,
at a great speed that they could not catch. And they're like, what is that? Now, a lot of people, it makes me laugh because there's this other theory that's going on out there. A lot of people um, kind of combine it with the flat world theory, and they have this thing that our world is surrounded by ice, and there's a whole nother sets of worlds outside of our wall of ice, and there are creatures out there that sometimes cross over here. This is one of the people, one person on TikTok had put it as this is where the theory of the Loch Ness monster came from. And it was like, this is where the idea of Godzilla came from. And I'm like, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. So you're saying those creatures came from Antarctica is one of the places that people are saying. And they're coming over to our world. And we've been told not to interact with them for fear of a world of war will come to us. And there's this peace treaty as long as they stay where they are and we stay where we are, we're good. And I'm like, oh my God, this where are you guys getting this folklore from? And again, the subject gets pointed right back at the government. The government is not telling us everything. And I'm like, oh boy.
I've seen a weird water thing before, but it was on a lake, not in an ocean.
Mm-hmm.
But it was making waves so big on the shore. It was like huge. It would have to been huge to make those waves on the shore. And yeah, don't know what it was, but it was nothing that big is supposed to be in the Kootenai Lake. I'll tell you that.
It makes people wonder. Like I want to say it was 2024. There was a report of this large mass off the coast of Antarctica that created this tidal wave that went towards Africa. And at the time, they said the shape of it was Godzilla shaped. And people
Weird.
started wondering, like, is it possible the Titans from back in the biblical days before the great flood or awakening.
What's Leviathan?
Leviathan is another titan
Okay.
that they were talking about. And in fact, um, there has been great speculation that the Leviathan is actually the beast that was talked about in Revelations, which is quite interesting. I was like, wait a minute. So you're saying this thing with all these heads and horns from the Bible is real? Oh, time out. Pause. Flag on the play. What do you mean by that? And then everybody kind of just, well, if you know, you know, kind of thing on it. And it was like, well, can y'all prove that? That's what that is? And if there are several sets of different texts that describe these creatures and their stature and the locations in which they were uh, bound to, and it was just like, wait a minute, so what else y'all not telling us? Becomes the question. Because in fact, like there's a mountain near, like I want to say it was like the um it was shown in one of the Disney movies and as one of these great giants that died during the Great Flood, and it was covered by the mud from the Great Flood and decomposed over time, but the framing of the body is still there and it formed the mountain that's near the island. And I was just like, this is fascinating. This is absolutely fascinating that you guys either one have a vivid imagination to dream up something so grandioso, or y'all really got some stories that y'all ain't told and ain't trying to tell for the fear of the reaction of people. Because I know a lot of people wondered, like, well, if the dinosaurs were so many of them, why do we not find more skeletons of the dinosaurs? The real question is, where are they looking for them? And when they go looking for them, how much of it can they actually find? Because to hold the theory of the Great Flood from Noah and Noah's Ark story to real life truth, you got to think how high the water was on the planet at that time.
They show at this museum that we went to the earth in the different stages of it over like the past thousands of millions of years. And there's
Mm-hmm.
this one point where there's just this little speck of land, and everything else is the ocean. Now, I don't know when that was because I don't pay that much attention to things. I
Right.
wouldn't remember. But there was definitely a point in time, according to scientists, and it was just the smallest little thing. So when you think about how like mountains and stuff, they were all covered. Crazy.
I told you this conversation was gonna get weird for some people out there. Like it's fascinating, but it's also weird because um there's this talk about angels that were cast out of heaven and were trapped and encaged under a river. And
Oh yeah, is that the
within recent
Euphrates? I
years,
keep on seeing
yeah,
that.
the Euphrates River has pretty much dried up. And urban legend, from what people, the scholars have said, is once the river is completely dried, those angels will then be released to the world. Now, some people are saying they're not really angels, they're actually demons. And then other people started speculating, well, what if they're not either? What if they're something else? It's like, well, what else would they be? Could they be?
Transdimensional beings from another planet. Jinns? Joel says jinns. Jinns are just Muslim demons, kind of, aren't they?
Really, jinns are, they can be demons or they could be uh angelic, like most of the lore of jinns are in a negative light as a bit of a karma of when you do something, it will come and find you and make you pay penance for those bad deeds. Um, it's quite interesting that over some a period of time, like jinns status wise became elevated to almost deity level, and people started fearing, revering them on a higher scale than they ever did before. And that's where they began to have this conflict, religious wise, between the two. How could God allow this jinn to do this and that? Same question comes across in most religions. How can God, who sits above all, allow demons, angels, or whatever to do bad things and not be punished for it, and we not see the punishment fulfilled? It's like, maybe we did see it, and our perspective on it is very small that we can't comprehend any of it. Maybe. Now, the transdimensional being aspect of things is where we start to get into the Anunnakis and the other extraterrestrial beings that came to Earth and experimented here and created us in their image. And some people are in conflict with that because of what it states in the Bible. Let us make man in our image. Biblically, it originally sounded like God was alone, then all of a sudden we're here with others that were witness to the creation of the earth. Wait a minute. Who are they? For that, some people had to go back and research through the other books that were not included in the 66 canon group. So famously signed off as biblically sound by King James and crew. I mean, it's so much there to really think about because um a lot of this becomes folk tales and lores without historical and documents. Yeah, historical documents to find and research and go back, debate, update, and all kinds of ways of interpreting, reinterpreting, and it's crazy. And what's even funnier for people to bring up the Anunnaki, and recently there was a comet flying by through our solar system, and people were in such a frenzy over this, saying that this comet, the way it moved in the night sky, didn't move like a regular comet, and people were speculating because of its makeup and what they could deduce from tracking other comets over the centuries, that something a little off about this one. Maybe it was a spacecraft just covered up in all this rock and everything, or maybe that's how their spacecrafts are designed. It's a lot of speculation, you know? And it's just when it comes to ancient race and extraterrestrial beings that visited us, there's still no real explanation for Stonehenge. People are still speculating and debating over the pyramids. There's so much to debate about. And it's gotten to be such a hot topic now because apparently there are psychics out here now debating about when we will have our first real live encounter that is shown worldwide to everyone that we're not alone. In fact, there was this whole speculation recently that, and you guys can look it up on TikTok too, that somewhere around June 24th at the World Cup in Miami, that the psychic had said on TikTok that there's going to be an alien spacecraft to come over the region and reveal itself because apparently unknown to us, there's a galactic war that has been going on over the last couple of years. And it's the reason for the recent fall of comets and meteorites coming crashing down to Earth. Uh, One happened to crash a few weeks ago in, I believe it was in South Carolina, and another one was up in like Boston. And everybody's like, well, why is it falling from the sky now?
That spooked me, those fireballs. That was weird.
It's freakishly weird because there's no explanation for it. The government doesn't know why it's happening. And now everybody's left to kind of drum up their own story on it. One of the more practical stories I've heard is our timeline has been manipulated since CERN, the group that's been playing around with a black hole that's underground, turned on their machine and did a particle collider to create a black hole on the ground. And the barrier between worlds is a simple word to say it. Worlds or realities have been kind of broken. And so we've been weaving in and out of different realities. And as time progressed, the barrier is falling and crumbling even more apart to the point now that they're speculating that beings from other parallel universes and other versions of Earth will begin to cross over into our world. And some of them are nice and some of them are not so nice. And somebody said the our underwater neighbors is what they put it. The world that we have a treaty with, that we don't bother them and they won't bother us, has been fighting our battle against those principalities for us for years. And I was like, oh my God, this is a rabbit hole. And it just keeps, the plot keeps getting thicker, man.
It does. And you could just lose yourself in it. It was like, if you think too hard, you're just going to end up wearing a tinfoil hat all the time.
I swear it. It, quite often it starts to remind me of several movies blended together. You got Independence Day, you got 2012, you got Godzilla, you got the World of War. The Day After Tomorrow is out there because they've been speculating that there are creatures that have been manipulating the weather. And this is where we have this whole El Nino pattern stuff going on, and global warming is getting out of control, and it's a rabbit hole to go down.
Oh, sorry. Did you see, I don't know, a few weeks ago, we were getting solar flares or whatever they're called. And it was getting higher and higher and higher. And we were almost getting to like a Carrington event level. And then all of a sudden, it just stopped. For the first time in the history of them recording the sun, it just stopped and it went back to normal. And they have no reason to explain it. No way to understand what happened. So that's pretty cool. Some people say it was that Galactic Federation stopping it, but I just think if it was anything, it would probably have been God. That's my go-to answer.
Yeah, it's my go-to answer. Because, you know, in our limited knowledge of the universe, he sits above all.
Exactly.
To us. Now, it could be to the Anunnakis, he can be their general, you know,
When it comes
or
down to it, creator of heaven and earth and everything in between, and just he's got to be the boss. So I'm not too concerned.
and you know, looking at it from the Bible sense, so, saying that he's a jealous God and will not have any other gods before him is a huge statement from the
Mm-hmm.
Bible. And it's like, well, if there's only one God, why would there be any other gods before them? Dot, dot, dot. Question mark.
There can't be.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you guys trying to tell us there are other gods? So does that mean Zeus and all of them are real?
Well, they wouldn't be gods. They would just be principalities or fallen angels or demons or whatever they are, right? But I wouldn't
Right.
ever use the term God to describe them. Although people, I guess, worship them falsely.
Because it just made me wonder, like, wait a minute. So why would y'all come up with God of the ocean, God of the air, God of lightning, God of fire, God of fertility, and all these stuff? Why would you come up with? And what was even funnier about it is the alternating between feminine deity and male deity in the sense of Greek gods. And it was just like, wait a minute, so why would you do that? Where to us, God has no gender at all. And it wasn't until like certain passages in the Bible that there were quote unquote genders giving to angels, Michael, Gabriel, Lucifer, and it was like, wait, whoa, time out. Well, I guess if he made man and made woman, I guess yeah, there had to be genders before that, right? It's like, what? Dang nabbit.
That's a deep, wow. I never thought about that before. If God is genderless, yeah, the concept. Blowing my mind, Mr. T.D. McCollum.
Because, they call Earth Gaia, and then they personified her as a female. And it was like, wait a minute. Why would Earth be a female? Where'd y'all get that from? And does that mean other planets are assigned genders too?
That's interesting because they kind of are like Mars. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Venus is the female. They kind of are.
And it starts to make you say, should I go down that rabbit hole?
Probably best not to.
Because then you start to find out, like, well, okay, The universe is a lot bigger than. Oh my gosh.
Miss Kim or Auntie, someone in the chat earlier said that there's like over two. I can't. It was a huge number of
Yeah.
galaxies. Like
Ms. Kim said, according to Google, there are an estimate of 2 trillion
trillion.
galaxies in in the observable universe. There has to be other life forms out there.
You would think so. And just because the body, like, just because God never spoke to people about it in the Old Testament, like, that doesn't really have to negate the fact that he might have created it somewhere else. And he, like, why would he bother to speak of that? He had things to talk to us about. You know, it wasn't like, oh, by the way, that was irrelevant at the time. There was big fish to fry. Stuff was going on he had to deal with. He just didn't show up willy-nilly and talk about his other creations. He talked about what he needed to say.
And to go back to that, go back to the Garden of Eden, and we're talking about the serpent talking to Eve. You're trying to tell me there was a lizard here on Earth that could talk. So, does this mean that all the animals could talk at the time? And then something happened and that was taken from them?
Well, the Garden of Eden was paradise. And in my mind, in paradise, you would get to know what your cat actually wanted. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but really, if it's paradise, then everything is there for you. So, yeah,
Right.
you would be able to know what your dog wanted when it was whining at you. It wouldn't whine, it would tell you.
But you know what I found fascinating later on in life was I can speak English to a cat and a dog and a bird, whatever animal, and it will understand what I'm talking about. To go to another country that doesn't speak my language and they speak their language to those same animals in the region and they understand what is being said to them is phenomenal.
My last dog, he understood, like, my friend was Dutch and he would speak Dutch to him and he understood Dutch. He understood Cree. He understood, like, whatever friend came over that spoke a different language, they'd always say something to my dog and he'd always, like, sit in their language and that kind of thing. So I think it's more intent with animals. Like, they get your vibe, like, not like they're reading your mind or anything. It's just more body language and they're very, very, very receptive. So it's kind of neat though.
It fascinated me because I had a conversation with a Dominican friend of mine, and it's just like, wait a minute, okay, when you're speaking in your native language, are you actively thinking about the English and the Spanish at the same time? And that opened the door to the conversation. Like, wait a minute, you got a dog. Are you speaking to your dog in Spanish or in English? I speak to my dog in Spanish only. But then take that back to the Tower of Babel story and how everybody at one time spoke one language prior to everyone being scattered all the way around the world and then eventually gathering with people that spoke similar to you. It starts to open up the weirdness a little bit more too.
Yes.
And it makes you wonder because when we talk about God and how he's able to speak to all of us, he has to also speak to the alien races that we never had communication with. And I did a video last year where I talked about these people talking about the aliens coming and landing on Earth, and I was like, they're gonna come out of the sky and land down somewhere and come off, and they'll speak in their language, but everyone around the world will know what they're saying in their native tongue, like they're speaking in their native tongue. And I'm like, wait a minute, wouldn't that freak you out just a little bit? Just a little bit.
Wasn't that the gift of tongues that some of the apostles got? Couldn't they speak in their native language to a group of people that all spoke different languages, but it didn't matter? They would understand him in their language. Is that, or am I not remembering that right? I don't know.
Well,
It was
the
a
gift
long
of
time
tongues
of
were
baptism.
a different. It was supposed to be the angelic language and the language between that vessel and God. And what's funny about that was I was watching a TV show, and a lot of people probably know about this TV show. More people don't know about the show than people actually know about the show. The show was called Supernatural. In its
Oh,
later
that was
seasons,
filmed in my hometown.
exactly.
It was filmed in Ladner, British Columbia, and I'm from Tawasin, and they filmed a lot of it in Tawasin.
Those later seasons, they were up there quite often. And they started diving into Enochian as the language of the angels on the show with a whole angel tablet and everything. And then they also dived into the language of demons on a demon tablet. In terms of language, those that may know of the book of Enoch, uh, these languages were shared with Enoch as he went around several different realms with the angels that showed him how to create weapons and armor, fire, and several other elements of technology that we deem technology, but were trinkets and things to them at that time period. And it was just like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that these folks out there shared their knowledge with us? Oh my.
Have you read the Book of Enoch?
I have.
That we're
It's
just
been a
starting
while.
it on Juice's channel. Dr. Keffa Ben Israel is
Yeah.
doing a Enoch Bible study. It is so interesting. It is insane. Like, as a Catholic, there's some of the books of the Apocrypha are
Hmm.
part of our doctrine and stuff, like the Book of Maccabees and stuff.
Right,
But
right, right.
Enoch, I know nothing about. And there's it, like, if you look at it a different way, it could be aliens or it could be angelic creatures, but just the descriptions of the orbs of light and all that kind of stuff.
All of
It's just
this.
crazy.
And it was like, well, why wouldn't people want us to know about this quote unquote story? Why wouldn't it be canon after his name is mentioned in the Bible for a nice little period? And then he, quote unquote, was taken. And I had asked at my young age when I came across that passage and God took him. I said, wait, where did he take him? Did he become an angel? Or did he just did he keep his body? What happened? Can y'all explain that? The weird side of it is like, okay, what if these were alien beings and they just brought them aboard their spaceship and left the Earth? And that is what we know as they took them. What if that is the case? How fascinating would that be to find out? And even more so, thanks to the TV show, shout outs to these writers on Supernatural, they explored these topics in such a creative way that I would recommend looking at the show because of how they introduce these characters from the Bible and all these folklores to you. It make you like really think, what more are they not telling us? Like the fact that there was a woman before Eve named Lilith who didn't like Adam.
What's that in? Where does that come from? Does that come from the Apocrypha? Because that's not in the Bible, is it?
It's not in the Bible that there was another woman before Eve. It's not in the Bible that there were more people created than Adam and Eve.
Kind
But
of.
you do. Hmm.
I was just gonna say, it kind of. How did we all come from? I don't know. I don't know. There's that whole theory, Genesis 6 or whatever, that there was two Adams and that there's a pre-Adamatic. I can't say the
Right.
word, but
Right.
you know what I mean. An Adam culture, and a culture before Adam. Sorry.
Right.
But
Right.
I don't know much about it, and I'm afraid to go there because I don't know what's biblical and what's not biblical, and I'm really, really, really afraid to do anything like that that might offend God. I don't know where I'm supposed to study and where I'm not.
And I do understand that completely. I do. Because I went down this road and rabbit hole at one time and I was like, I ain't got the answers. And nobody I know has the answers. So what you say, God? Leave it alone? Okay, cool.
Good answer.
Because like to find out that the whole lore behind Lilith was she was Adam's first, and she didn't like Adam, and in defiance to God, she rejected him and everything that he stood for and his authority. And she metamorphed herself into a bird-like creature and flew into the ocean. And I was like, wait, what?
Is this from the Gnostic Gospels?
I forgot exactly where I found it. It was one of those weird
The
books.
best description I ever heard of the Gnostic Gospels was by a guy named Chris Knowles. And he said it was like, it's a, what did he call it? Hippie fan fiction for, or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and it kind of is. Like, I
Yeah.
found a copy of that in one of those free book exchanges. And so I got it and I read it. And I was like, this doesn't sound like anything to do with my Jesus. My Jesus doesn't speak like this. He
Right.
doesn't speak in riddles. Like, it's all riddles. And I'm like, no, my Jesus didn't speak in riddles. He wasn't cryptic. Like, I don't know. I was offended, and I felt like I was reading something dirty that God would not like.
Right.
And I don't know. That was just my opinion on the Gnostic Gospels.
And
I'm sure there's some good stuff in there, and I didn't read everything. I'm by no means a scholar. I just read what I found.
I'm no means by a scholar either, but when I read what I found, and I was just like, this is interesting. I looking into it even further made me curious, but then when my head began to hurt over the amount of time that I spent diving into it, I lost their level of care.
Yeah, I hear you. I know what
Because
you're saying.
like it when we talk about rabbit holes and how far you can dive down, the whole music industry and the whole quote unquote demonic association with it, and Lucifer being still over control of it because he was quote unquote over music in heaven, and he was cast out of the earth, and it's a lot to dive down into.
It's there, though. And oh my gosh, speaking of Lucifer being involved in things, you know, the UN, right? The United Nations. Well, they
Mm-hmm.
have this meditation room there, and
Yep,
it
I
is
saw it.
sponsored by the Lucis Trust, right? And the Lucis Trust used to be called the Lucifer Trust, and it was started
Yep.
by this chick, wackadoodle chick named Alice Bailey. And Alice Bailey
Mm-hmm.
was a student of Madame Levinsky and Aleister Crowley. Nothing good
Right.
about this chick. Nothing good about Lucis Trust. Nothing good at all, Mr. McCollum. I just needed to
Nothing.
get that off my chest.
No, I totally understand you because I went down that rabbit hole and it led to them. And I was like, well, who are these crazies? After like reading their life stories and everything, it was like, well, why would you? So y'all listen to this and y'all incorporated it into your life at the same time of going to church.
I know, and
Lutheran, Methodist, Baptist,
and they
Catholic.
snuck it into our lives as Christians on the down low. They infiltrated our
Exactly.
lives. They normalized New Age Christianity like it wasn't offensive to God.
Exactly.
It's just, there's all sorts of stuff that has happened over the years that has just corrupted us. And we didn't even notice it. We didn't even notice.
This is where there's such a blurred line between reality nowadays because what we thought we knew is no longer the status quo because they keep bringing stuff
Mm-hmm.
out and about, and we're like, so we're supposed to follow that now. Okay. Half of us are like, yeah, I'm gonna go with it because I trust you. And the other half is like, well, wait a minute. I've been learning this way for the last 30 years. Now you're telling me to go that way. Why? Well, I just do it. No, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. Why do I just fall in line with what you're saying now? And this is the birth of woke culture.
Woke didn't used to be a bad thing. I remember when woke meant that you were aware. You know, it meant awareness. It meant
Yes.
awareness of the injustices and the awareness of what needed to be done to make things better. They're basically the awareness of love, right?
Right.
It had nothing to do with politics. It was not a political movement. It
Nothing.
wasn't. It was a movement of love and just awareness. And now to say you're woke is to be like admitting something that I don't want to be in the way it's defined now.
Woke has taken on another definition now
It
because
really has. They've weaponized the word woke.
it's been weaponized, and then it has been now associated with a particular race. And these people are now making it anti them. Because it challenges everything that their whole agenda stands for. And what's so funny about it, the entire Enlightenment movement was about challenging what we all knew. And to take on bar, a broader perspective. And now you're saying, well, don't take on a broader perspective because you're not going to do what I want you to do.
You know, if we had just all just maintained the status, like been good Christians and actually followed what Jesus taught, then we would be already be enlightened. We would already be,
Facts.
leading with love and pro everything that is good. Do you know what I mean?
I
Everything
I
that
do.
Jesus said, he said it best. Nobody can build on his message. No movement can ever be any better than what Jesus taught. And I'm a firm believer in that.
I do too. One of the problems that I had in my church upbringing was they taught the lessons from Jesus, right?
Yeah.
But then as they went through the New Testament, it began to start to come back around to, well, well, Paul said, or John said, and I was like, well, have we ever thought about looking at the two? What Jesus said versus what they said. Their actions versus Jesus' actions. And what I started to notice what happened is the people in the room would fight over who was right.
And that's such a Christian thing to do.
And when you start to peel back the layers of the onion on that, you start to find out why there are so many quote unquote religious based fights today. And 90% of them are started by Christians. And it's because of the back and forth on beliefs. And
I don't even know what the differences of these beliefs are, though. Like, I haven't figured that out yet. I was raised Catholic. I go to Juice's Bible study. I go to your guys' Bible study in the morning. I do bishops on. I missed it tonight, but on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and
yeah,
I haven't quite figured out what the difference is, like between the Catholic religion and like I asked Bishop the other day. I was like, "What religion are we?" Like, I didn't even know. And I don't think it really matters what you say. The name is.
it doesn't. But because people want to have a sense of belonging to a movement and be tied to a movement and have something to stand for, they draw these party lines. Oh,
No.
you Muslims, oh, you Buddhists, oh, you Catholics, oh, you Judas. What I've done, I've actually went through a lot of these religions and looked at them side by side, and I'm like, we're talking about the same stuff. It the major difference that I saw was the order in which events happened. But they all lead back to one place. One God over us all. And
That's it right there.
for the life of me, I used to argue back and forth with people about it. I no longer argue back and forth about all roads lead back to one place.
Yep.
It's home. Where's home? That's with the Creator.
Yep.
The one true God.
Don't argue. Just lead by example.
And that's what I chose to do, lead by example. When I introduce myself, I don't introduce myself with a title. I don't introduce myself as being Baptist, non-denomination. No. I love God. Do you love God?
I love God. Yep.
Cool.
And I try to be a good Christian, and I try to follow the teachings of Jesus. I fail all the time. Oh, I fail?
But here's the thing. You never stop trying.
Oh, I try every day.
And to know that there are people that
night.
fall and they say, we all fall short. That's such a true statement. We all fall short because we want to take on it all and be able to be everything for everyone, but we can't be everything for everyone. And what happens, we get disrupted in the whole madness of being someone's everything. This is where I say in America, these pastors fault themselves the most, trying to be everything for everyone in your church. You cannot do that.
No.
Because you're not an expert in everything. You can be knowledgeable of stuff, but you're not a perfect expert in everything. And this is where community becomes even more crucial, because that's how we grew as a people, through community.
Right. Leaning on everybody's strengths. Everybody has a strength, and lean on that. Like, the pastor doesn't have to be everything to everybody. You're right. There's other people in the congregation with gifts and strengths that can be utilized as well.
But this whole notion of my gift is above yours and
Oh,
I can say the word better, and I know how to quote it more than you, and I
yeah.
that is purely idolatry,
And ego.
and ego.
The root of most of our mistakes as people, I think when we operate from a place of ego. It's so hard to just, well, like Bob Marley said, no, who was it? No, emancipate ourselves from our ego. Anyways, it's hard to
Mhm.
do.
It's very hard because it makes us feel good when we could impose um, onto people wisdom from our experiences, and they grow from it, and they credit us with that growth.
Right.
And what's so crazy about it is there are more people in this world that are seeking credit for whatever they do to elevate themselves above the next person that has become such a detriment to this world.
And what about ever like having about giving the glory to God for like our gifts that led us to that place of victory or success, you know? Like,
No, they
shouldn't the
don't.
glory be His ultimately,
It
anyways?
should always be his, because I mean, oh my gosh, it all comes from him or
Hmm.
her, as
Even the
some
aliens,
people.
if they're out there, even the demons, if they're, like
Right?
ultimately they were His, but they rebelled. Everything under the sun.
Everything falls under the Most High's authority. It's why when you utter their names, Jesus, God, it does something. It does something in the air. It does something energy wise. It does something spiritually because it's power in those names.
I always think of when the archangel Michael was fight. I can't remember who it was, but it was a demon, anyways. And all he
Mhm.
said is, "My father rebukes you." Like he didn't even need to say God's name. He just said, "My father," and that was enough,
Right.
knowing who his
Oh,
father was. It's like, "My
because you
father
knew,
rebukes you."
because you knew who the Father
Yeah,
was.
exactly. Even that demon knew, and he couldn't. It was enough. So that's just the power of, like you said, the power.
And, like, it's my hopes that eventually, how I would say it, like, what didn't come out in the wash will come out in the rinse. And for it to be all smoothed out. And maybe it will take a extraterrestrial event for all knees to bow and all tongues to confess. Maybe so. Maybe it will take the world spinning around out of control one day and Australia is no longer Australia. the United States is no longer the United States. The North Pole is no longer the North Pole. Just maybe. Our whole entire world needs to be turned upside down for us to realize where our source is. What messes me up is being so in tune to the spiritual realm. Um, and I chuckled at your post in our Instagram group where you said those darn time travelers.
Oh, with
Something
Jay-Z.
with
Because
Jay-Z.
here's all those pictures of him from back in the day when he shouldn't have been alive. And it's like, hey, but he's time traveling.
Oh my gosh, because like over the years, I I did a deep dive in that too, and I was just like, it's something weird on that. Like to see the picture
Oh,
of Elon Musk's ancestor, bro, and he looked exactly like the ancestor. I said,
ew.
wait a minute.
And if anyone was doing it, it would be them. Like Jay-Z's like goes around wearing OTO shirts and doing like all that. He's like definitely into the occult. Like it's he admits it
like,
pretty much.
it's
He's
like
definitely not doing a good job of denying it.
to to what was so funny was like somebody did a deep dive and found an image of a pharaoh that looked like Barack Obama, and I was
Oh
like,
no. That's a long time to like
"Look here, y'all."
what if they're immortal? What if they're immortal, TD?
This has been some of the speculations that if you dive down these rabbit holes, you'll start to be like, people, what are we smoking on? This
Oh,
ain't peace pipes
I've
that
been
we
going a
smoking on
little
here.
I went a little too deep in preparation for this. I've got notes here, and I'm telling you, I needed a breather. I needed to go outside and put my feet in the grass and listen to some birds because I was like getting
Because
pretty. I was getting scared, TD.
it sends you down a dark path. Like when
Because people are dark.
people have a darkness out there that if it isn't kept at bay, crazy stuff comes from it. The
It
whole
does.
Masonic order and these degrees that's above the 33rd degree that I forgot the guy's name that said he went all the way up to 90 degrees of the
Oh, there's a
stuff.
few. Albert Pike. He's a famous one.
Yeah.
Albert Pike.
Yeah,
Oh
Albert
yeah,
Pike
no, I did.
is one
I
of them.
went so far down the Mason OTO occult stuff that I had to like, wow, it was bad.
You have
But
to
that
pull
really
back.
ties in with the whole alien stuff and
It
demon stuff
does.
and those guys and the Navy and Aleister Crowley, and it's just been like boom ever
Ugh.
since 1918. It's been boom, 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 boom. Aliens, demons, aliens, demons. People in government partaking in weird stuff that isn't exactly hidden very well.
These
It's like, oh my
rituals.
goodness. Yeah, and Canada's no better. Like
I
Canada government and our history is just, it's like just the same as yours.
wow. Uh,
Yeah.
what what was so fascinating to me about American occult history and how eventually it hit this fork in the road and it split in a Y aspect of it. And it was just like, so why'd y'all go that way?
Better results.
And you said it, the
It's they're
results.
so greedy. They're so greedy and so anxious that they're willing to just do anything, like just
Do
horrific thoughts, sell your
horrible
soul. And
things.
yeah, and just the thought to compromise your own salvation. You are willing to forego going to heaven and spending the rest of your life in paradise with people you love to do that. And there's no forgive if you I don't think if I don't know, maybe they can be forgiven for it, but if you go into it knowing that, how can, like, it's just so scary that there's people out there that actually choose that and believe it.
Lady Virgo said, "Oh my,"
Hey,
earlier.
Lady Virgo.
Uh, Jennifer says, "Me looking up at things going over my head.
Oh,
Y'all getting deep."
sorry. This has been a fun conversation and I could go on forever, so I'm sorry.
Look, I promise you, like when I say probably a good 2 3 years of my life, I did such a deep dive on so many different things that when I came back to what I deem reality, nothing, nothing. I could not look at anything the same anymore. Like to deep dive on symbolism and
Mm-hmm. And you,
all the different nuances, all the way down to the reason why houses have this upward pitch and certain businesses that have a flat rooftop versus the triangle rooftop and how that was by design.
yep, all geometrical magic.
Occultism.
Yeah,
And it was like,
geometrical.
wait. Time out.
Mm-hmm.
Flag on the play. What do you mean? This is some of the reasons why churches have this at the top of the church. Uh, you know what? Mm-mm. God ain't in this. Hold on.
No, don't you drag my God into your
Don't you
nonsense.
put God in all this.
And that's how I feel. It's like, wait. No. He's not for that. And he can't be.
Lady Virgo said, Mama here, this is such an exciting topic for you, huh?
It
It is.
is, Lady Virgo.
It
You're
is,
lucky I
man.
don't spam you all the time. Oh my gosh, Lady Virgo, did you? You'll never
Look,
guess what I heard.
oh my gosh. And what I see on the political side of things, like when I was doing the old format of the show, I was like, look, y'all have no idea how much stuff I see on a daily basis. I will be up here 8 or 9 hours presenting stuff. I gotta stop it because the stuff that this administration that is currently occupying 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. is doing on a daily basis and their cohorts compadres are doing on a daily basis is so much stuff.
It is so hard to swallow. It's just so in your face now. They don't even hide it. Oh,
Like the stuff that's going on right now in Iran with the Strait of Hormuz and them having a new negotiation over what they gonna be able to receive. Just tell the American people y'all didn't like the deal that Obama did because y'all didn't want to pay the tax for getting stuff from over there. And y'all thought y'all could go in and bully them around and get y'all way. And they slapped you all the way back to Sunday.
oh no, America won, don't you know? USA won.
I laugh every time they said it. I absolutely laughed because I was like, if y'all believe this, I know for sure that y'all really believe there's beachfront property available in Idaho.
Yeah, it's crazy time.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, how? And that's when I realized people don't really care. Y'all don't really care.
I think it's not that they don't care, TD. I think it's more of it's such an overwhelming situation, and there's so many people are keeping so many balls in the air right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then with everything else swirling around their head in the news and on the internet, we're so inundated with information and news, and I think people who just don't know what to do. I just honestly think it's people who just throw their arms up and just keep their head down and try to get through the day.
I'm just gonna focus on my life.
Yeah. Try to
And what I can and can't control.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm
Because
like,
they do. The government makes us regular people just feel so helpless now.
I don't like it because based off of the history of countries that did that, they all fell apart.
Oh, yeah. And like with the voter fraud going on in California right now, like that whole, to me, it's kind of crazy because that whole
Oh my God.
state is kind of angry right now, right? But that state has as many people in it as Canada. That's like the whole country of Canada getting,
California is on the map. It looks like it's a medium-sized state. California is freaking huge.
Population is insane.
It is huge. It's literally a country by itself.
Yep. It's as many people as Canada. And think about how big Canada is.
Canada is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you have these idiots that want to prove the point. I don't know if you guys heard about it up there in Canada. There was a couple of people that came from out of state that came to California during the election process, tried to register to vote from another state to vote in California.
And were they allowed?
No.
Oh.
What they were trying to prove that there's widespread voter fraud in California, and one of them was a person that was visiting on a visa from a whole nother country. Like, an entire country that's like miles away from California. And they were here on a work visa trying to vote. It was like, you can't vote. You need a social security to vote. I don't have that. You got to be born here. Or, at least go through the proper channels to become a U.S. citizen. You're not a U.S. citizen. How can you vote? It's not going to happen. You got to be a resident of the state for a certain amount of time. You got to have a ID registered with the state of California. So you mean I can't come with my Arizona ID and vote? No.
Jeez.
You idiot.
Just.
And it's because of these stories that's told on the internet that are lies that people think they could do these things.
I think they're just trying to make people mad. They're just trying to make people mad and get people riled up and make people divided, and they know exactly how to do it. Because, what's that? United we stand and divided we fall. The first rule of the art of war,
Exactly. This is why I started saying this is the divided states of America.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer the United States of America because of, frankly, I have to say it's because of politics.
Oh, it is. It's insane how devoted Americans are to their political party. Like in Canada, people don't talk about who they vote for. And it doesn't matter who you voted for. After the election, everybody comes together as one and hates the government. Like you should. Like a good country does. But
I was just like, man, it's so I'll say like the last 20 years has been so fascinating. How politics have gone deeper than has ever gone. Like, I mean, for a father and daughter to be such at odds that he unalives his daughter.
What?
Like, this happened in Texas last year.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, what? Politics made you that mad that you took your daughter out.
Well, there's obviously serious underlying issues already in this man to do that. Like, but still, for that to be what broke the camel's back, your own daughter, like, oh my goodness, that's a horrifying situation.
The story goes, the daughter started presenting the facts to her father in regards to Mr. Kankles, and his associates, and started bringing up the talks about what would happen as far as abortion, and then how it's affecting her. And he was like, "You've been listening to that woke culture." It's like, wait, whoa, wait a second. And like, to find out like he was like a deacon of the church and all this stuff, and it's like, whoa.
Oh no.
What happened to the Bible in this? Threw it out the window.
People hide in the church though. People use the church to hide.
I know that for sure because I saw them growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting to me was some of us that were very highly intuitive about them were able to sniff them out.
Yeah, I bet.
But they always found themselves in another church. And what would happen when they got into that other church that did not have the discernment to sniff them out? They terrorized that church. And we find out about it later. And we're like, how could you guys not see this?
You know, sometimes people just, because of the position that person holds, they have so much respect for the position that they forget there's a person behind that position who's their own,
Yeah.
who might not fulfill all the moral requirements of that position. They are a person after all. And I think there's a flaw there for sure.
It terrified me with some of the people that I was around at that time of my life. And I was like, I am glad God moved me that way.
Yeah.
Far away from them.
Amen. I grew up Catholic. I know all about people just cowering at like the power of the priest and the thought of just say, oh, but like, why don't, it's like, instead of going to the police, people in religious, when it happens in religious organizations, they tend just to go to the higher up person in the like pastoral ranking or whatever. But they're never going to compromise the money flow of their church, right? And go to the police and do what's right and risk exposure and risk losing congregation and hence tithing. And I just wish people would skip going to and just go to the police like you should. Like if it was a gym teacher or something like that. Anybody else. Treat them like they're any other person when they've done wrong.
But the problem actually came in when people diminish the level and severity of the wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Because they could not separate the wrongdoing from the body that did it.
Yeah. Or the position.
And I'm like, where did that come into play? For me, from my perspective, I saw that awaken in the 90s. And it was exactly what you said. It was birthed, nurtured, fed, rebirthed again, all centered around money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that I don't understand. Like that whole concept of, well, I understand prosperity preaching, but I don't understand the extent to that some pastors take it, Oh, I can never remember his name. He's little, he's got dark hair, and he has a private plane. Not Joel Osteen.
Creflo Dollar had one.
But Joel Osteen, I think he has a private plane too.
Yeah, Joel Osteen has one. How, per the timeline that I remember, is Bishop Eddie Long was one of the first black preachers to have his own private jet. And because of his status and fame, a lot of people that were in smaller churches, well, I need to do that.
Right.
And it became this whole keeping up with the Joneses thing. And now it becomes this whole hierarchy thing of, well, you're not here unless you have this laundry list of stuff.
Where is that in the Gospels, though?
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not.
Or where's paying for prayers, Paula White? Is that her name?
It's not. But the way they got there was flipping the passage of the Bible that's talking about our gifts will make room for us, and also going back to other biblical stories like, I'm drawing a blank at a second. What is his name? Gosh. Anywho's, back in Genesis, there were several of them actually, where they were gifted all these things based off of what they did for people, and in addition to what they brought and added to them value wise was multiplied from different people of authority, pharaohs and nobles and all this stuff. And so people over the years kind of started flipping those stories into their identities and therefore utilizing it to stack up their platform. And because they found people that are willing to, here you go, take it, they never stopped doing it.
Well,
even on the whole concept of when people went to go see the prophets back in the older times of the Bible, they would bring gifts to them. It wasn't money, but to them at that time period, it was money. Bringing cattle, bringing grain, bringing fruits, and the best of their cattle that was slain, the cuts of meats and stuff like that. Like, this was their offering to people. Over time, that offering changed into money, and over time, the more money people made, the more people began to ask of them.
right.
And culturally, somewhere in the 90s is where I track it radicalized, where if you truly believe there is a God, walk up in this line over here and write me a check for $1,000. The miraculous thing about it is the exchange. Is as people believe that they gave the $1,000, they believe that they will receive it or something greater without a time limit on it.
Right.
A specific time period when it was to return to them. Now, what became fascinating was these preachers that will say, you give me $1,000 today, at the end of the month, you'll have it back 10 times fold, or it'll multiply to you 3 times. And then people are like, yeah, I got 1,000 to give. I'll try it.
So it's like gambling.
It became a gambling type addiction
That
to
almost
some
like,
people.
to me, like it's great to tithe. I know that the church needs it, and pastors should live comfortably. I totally agree with that completely. But I wonder if pastors like that ever lie awake at night thinking, worried because somebody gave their last $200 that they had for groceries because they were promised with, and they're faithful people, so they believe that if they give that $200, then they're going to get it back fivefold. But then you know what? Maybe those kids go without lunch for a week, or who knows? Like, you don't know what you're playing with. You don't know people's desperation when you're
Oh,
making that offer to them. And
right.
it is essentially an offer. You give me this, and through God, or through me and my prayers, God will give you that. That's a big promise that you can't guarantee.
I What I had hoped was that people would check with God on the amount to give.
Discernment. But sometimes the pastors put like set an amount. Like I've seen that.
Hmm. They do.
I've
They
seen them
do.
set up lines. If
Yeah.
you pay this much, you're so everybody can see that this person pays this much, but you're only giving that much. Let's do the lesser than greater than thing in church, eh?
And it's that segregation that is breaking us down as a people, and
Oh,
they don't even know it.
it is. There's a word for it in like elders in the Cree culture. They call it lateral violence. And what it
Hmm.
means is we're all the same, man. It's us against them. Get it together now.
Right. Right.
It's lateral violence we're doing to each other because we're all the same. It's just those a handful of people that are pitting us all against each other.
What's so fascinating to me is a lot of people are not fully aware of where that culture came from.
Do you know? Tell me.
It's fascinating because it actually stems from um, aristocratic nature,
Right.
where okay, back in the olden times, and this is European culture, olden times I'm speaking about, um, where if you were a farmer, you were looked at as less than
Mm-hmm.
because you were a farmer versus somebody that is an educator versus somebody that is a bookkeeper versus somebody that is an entertainer. Because technically, the entertainer is just a step above the farmer. And it's those hierarchies that were starting, that were implemented into societies. And as people traveled around the world and compared their hierarchies once among each other, they begin to mirror each other. And then it started to become a parallel thing around the world where
Right.
if you don't have a certain amount of wealth or fame or influence, you're looked down upon.
Yep. And they still reinforce that in grade 3 math with lesser than, greater than. I think it is so ridiculous. Like
Mhm,
every 9-year old
mhm.
kid can tell that Paul has 9 apples and Jack has 4. Duh. Paul has more apples. You don't need to spend a year teaching that lesser than and greater than are a thing according to what people have. That's not math, that's social conditioning.
That's exactly where they did it because they wanted to put a concept in children's mind subliminally. If I have more, then I'm worth more. If I have less, then I'm worth less.
Yep.
And what they did not realize, they planted the seed for death.
Mm.
In that concept. To say that Johnny has 9 apples and Sherry has 4, how will Sherry get an equal amount? Well, to equal them, that the way that both of them have the same amount of apples, Sherry now has to take some from him.
Right. I never thought about that before.
Subliminally, they set us up.
They really do. Starts from a young age.
It starts so young. Even the whole concept of time management starts so young with our children, where they're waking up early in the morning, have to be at a place at a certain time, meal is at a certain time, exiting, exercise, all this stuff is in a certain time block of the day. And what's egregious about it is, as they get older, they cram more into the day on our children to manage.
They come home exhausted.
I remember my high school years, my later years of high school, where to catch my bus to go to school, I had to wake up at least by 5:30 in the morning to catch my bus by 6:30.
Oh right? My goodness. Not even my kids on the farm had to get up that early.
School started at 7:55 every day. 7:55. Why is it that you're starting 5 minutes before 8? They wanted you in place, getting you ready for a 8 o'clock to 5 or 4 o'clock day. School let out for us, fortunately, at 2:30. So 7:55 to 2:30 was our regular school block. But Tyrone was in band.
So was I.
Band class started at 3:15. Or really 3 o'clock. So after school let out at 2:30, I have about 30 minutes to try and find a snack or something before band started at 3. We went 3 to 4:15 after school.
And then you had to take a bus that whole time home.
I had to take the bus back home. I didn't get home until 5:36.
That is an exhausting day, especially because teenagers are growing so fast, especially young boys. Even just existing for you guys is exhausting.
Yep. That was my day, and had to do homework, had to cook dinner sometimes, had to practice the music. I wasn't going to bed until 9, 10, 11.
But like, did that give you like a real sense? Did that burn you out, or did that give you a sense of like structure. Do you like structure now, or do you
I
say, no
I
way, I'm doing things on my time?
I prefer structure, but when
Yeah.
I hindsight 2020, when I look back at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I wore myself out.
Mm-hmm.
And I've conditioned myself to sleep less and be up way more. Everybody was talking about, oh yeah, you need to get at least 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours of sleep. I wasn't getting 8 hours of sleep if I had to be up at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning to go to school, be on a bus,
Yeah,
and be at school by 7:55. There's no way.
that's insane.
There's no way. Not with all that I had to do in life after school, you know, because my gosh, the amount of classes that we had um, in school were insane. Um, as they were talking about, we're getting you prepared for college. uh,
Oh yeah, because you
so
guys are intense about that in the States, like SATs
yeah,
and all that thing.
all of that
We don't
stuff
do
is
that here.
super critical here because
Yeah.
you can't get into a valuable school without it. Like, and it goes back to that whole aristocratic thing. If you're not living up to these standards and being able to produce at these standards, that you're discarded as being worthless.
Yep.
And to know that, like, for a high schooler, I had, I know most people probably say they would have like 9 classes. No, I had like 13 classes.
Wow. You sound like you
13.
were really, really ambitious, though, like with the band and committed. Like, that's pretty impressive. My kids were pretty lazy.
It, well, that was because we were conditioned into all of this stuff, like band and football and all this stuff. That's the extracurricular stuff. That's stuff that we do to have some sort of enjoyment. But hindsight 2020, like when I thought back to what I went through as a student, I said, my gosh, I think I have PTSD now
You
because
very well could, you know?
I didn't realize how rigorous the program that I was in was until hindsight 2020 come back around and it's like, oh my gosh, this programming that I have in my head, I have so much stuff that's in me that is now instinctual stuff. It reminds me of the movie Born Identity. He was like, "Hey man, don't mess with me," and then he starts punching and kicking and breaking people's arms. Just like, how'd you do that? I don't know. I don't know. It's somewhere in my head.
Now I
It,
want to
It's
watch
just
that
like,
again.
intuitive memory.
it kind of messes with you over the years because somebody asks you to do something and all of a sudden you just start doing it and you're like, I don't remember where I picked that up and how I remember that. It's a little freaky.
It's in there, though. That's a good
It's in there
sign.
somewhere. 'Cause I it it was, I think the worst of it was when I went through grad school. And after grad school, I learned so much in such a short amount of time in an accelerated program. Like, imagine cramming 2.5 years worth of material into 12 months, having a class a month, and just
Wow.
cranking out papers and doing research and all this stuff for a
What
year
is
straight.
grad school? We don't have grad school in Canada. I don't think.
So, um,
I hear about it all the time in movies, though.
so graduate school is the next level above undergraduate, where this is where you have your master's level on different
Oh,
subject
it's a
matters. Where,
university thing.
yeah, it's a university thing where after we've gone through 4 years of undergraduate work, you then pick a specialty area that you want to quote unquote master or be
Okay.
deemed an expert in. And that's where people will go into specialties like specifically childhood education versus the whole here in the States 12 years of education. They'll go into
Wow.
elementary and, they'll just do that area only. And they can specialize in that or even get down to the nitty gritty of special education only. Or people will go into sports medicine specifically at the master's level before going to the doctorate level. And in order to get a doctorate, you have to have a master's. So they've set up
Right.
society where, oh, well, you've gotten to this far. You got to go even further to get even further.
Right.
It's like, what?
Right.
Oh my
See,
gosh,
in
you guys are
Canada,
killing us.
in Canada, you just go to school for 4 years and you get your bachelor's, and then you just do what we call writing your master's, and
Mm.
then you just do your master's, and then after you do your master's, you'd go for your doctorate. But the grad school thing is we just call writing your master's.
And
So I got it
here,
now.
most of the programs here at the master's level are 2 years, if not possibly 2.5 years. Um, where most of the doctorate levels are, I would almost say 3 years minimum. There are a few
Oh yeah.
programs that are 2 year doctoral programs, but most of them are 3 years here in the States. And it's just like to think that you've now gone through 12 years of general education, another four on top of that. That's mathematically what, 16 now?
16 years of school.
16 years of school there. And then say, hey, if you wanted to go another further, you're going to have to take an additional 2 years at the master level and another 3 years on top of that. You're like almost 20 years of
And
yikes.
student loans that nobody can ever afford to pay off anymore.
That became a trap in itself because
Mm-hmm.
when the schools became for profit schools and nothing was free anymore, now it's the aristocratic thing all over again. Like
Yep.
if you can't afford to
They don't want regular
attend,
people to succeed.
no, and the level of information that's provided based off of the financial, uh, I would say, network of institutions, like it's disproportionate. It's very
It's
disproportionate,
be it's
and it's done
beyond
that way on
disproportionate.
purpose.
It's criminal. I heard a thing in the United States. How they fund a school
Mhm.
district is based on the mean income of that district's like families. So if
Yeah,
it's a low income district, then that
yeah,
school is only getting a small amount of funding compared to a high income area, because I guess they say, well, they're paying more in taxes because they're making more money, so their school gets more money. But that's
yeah,
not, that's criminal. In Canada,
yeah.
it's blanketed. Everybody gets the same. It's not, there's income of the community has nothing to do with the quality of education provided.
No,
but it most certainly
only
does.
poor people go to public school.
Oh, but Joel says only poor people go to public school in Canada, and that's true.
Wow.
There's private schools for rich people.
That's the same concept here in the States too. The rich people go to the private schools where they believe that they get the best education because they hire the best educators for the money.
Yeah.
You know,
different curriculum too.
Totally different curriculum.
They absolutely teach totally different curriculums, and the curriculums vary from state to state here in the United States. So, New York has a different set of material than Texas does, and Oklahoma has a different set of material than Maryland does. It's fascinating that they're able to do that, and then they were like, "Well, we need to standardize education," but yet still, y'all tie finances to the standardization of it. Like it so it's a pay to play thing, education wise, and then it becomes this whole, well, if you don't have enough money, you go over there where the poor peoples go, and you stay over there. Don't you dare try to think that you're gonna come over here.
Don't you even try. Don't you
come over here with the big boys. Don't you do
it. It's sad, but it's true.
But
it's sad.
You know,
I don't know if I want it, but people talk revolution all the time, and it's like how far can it go before things fall, right? And how will they fall? What will it look like?
This is what the real fuss about segregation here in the United States was, because they did not want classism to cross over and cross-pollinate with each other. They didn't want the rich kids being in the same spaces as the poor kids at all, because it gave people hope. And then on the flip side of it, it opened people up to empathy. And with empathy, they begin to pour out their heart. And when they pour out their heart, they pull out their money. And then that means that money ain't going to where they want the money to go to.
That's so true. They can't raise a generation of rich and empathetic people. That will that's going to crap the bed on their whole plan, TD.
It shatters their entire infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
And it challenges the status of those that are really, quote unquote, in power.
Yeah.
And I say, man,
those in power. Wow. That's a bit of night of heavy stuff. Holy cow. How long have we been on here for?
We've been here for 2 hours and 34 minutes, people. This is what happens on Unveiled Vibrations when we have the deep conversation.
It was fun.
Much needed conversation. Like, a lot of people don't have these conversations publicly. These are the conversations that they'll have at the dinner table or in closed rooms. I'm willing to have those conversations.
I think it's important to have the conversations. I think people need to be just courageous and comfortable in speaking about what they want to. Censored. When people feel censored, That's
Yeah.
exactly what they wanted. They don't want us to talk because talking develops ideas, and ideas encourage change. And change is usually positive if it's done by the people, for the people. And that's not
Yeah.
what can happen because that means that we win and they lose, which is going to happen anyways. Glory be to God.
Absolutely. Because everything has its season.
Mm-hmm.
Meek inherit the earth.
And the meek
Yeah,
inherit the earth.
Joel.
You heard Joel say that? He's like, the meek, he
Yeah,
always says that.
Joel.
That, and he's always like, and I walk through the valley of death and I fear no evil. He's like, yeah, you
Ew.
should get that tattooed on you.
That
But he
is
doesn't
so
get tattoos. He
powerful right
doesn't
there.
think tattoos are cool. Yeah.
It's so powerful to have that as a motto, a mantra. Uh, what is the word? Affirmation.
Yeah. And he lives by it. Like when I'm shattering from stuff, he's like, come on. He's like, we walked, and he was like, we walk through the valley of death and we fear no evil. We have faith. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Believe it or not, Jennifer is the one that gives me a stern talking.
I'm not surprised at all, TD. Not surprised at all.
Like when one of the main reasons why she said I needed this show is because I go there. I go real deep in conversations, and people were like, I don't know, why would you think such, man, you thinking too hard about it. And I'm like, no, it's a subject that needs to be discussed.
Yeah. Got to get it off your chest, man. At least I do.
And I'm happy to do it here now. Like, it's been fun this last year since I picked up the mic. It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so
no
fun.
Problem.
I really enjoyed this.
Yes. And you're welcome to come back anytime you feel like it, man. This square is yours.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Man,
well,
I say this, hey, let people know how they can follow you on social.
I don't really have social media. I have Instagram, but that's just to talk to my friends. Like I don't have Facebook. I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm not a social media girl. I just lurk in the YouTube streets and chat a bunch. That's all.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, it has been a pleasure, y'all, man. I'll say like this. Come back here Wednesdays, 8:30-ish. I try to get up here on time. I don't know. Sometimes I be a little technical difficulties. I didn't plug the camera in on time. The audio's a little wonky. It happens. Stuff happens. But I will be here on Wednesday. Unless I tell you I'm not going to be here on Wednesday. I will be here. And then you can see me on Saturdays with the crew. We're all here doing a prayer devotional together at 10-ish in the morning because, it's early in the morning on a Saturday. We're a little tired.
It's the best time. It's the best way to start the weekend. I love it.
And we have a good time.
Faithful Word Ministries prayer on Saturday morning and have your coffee with us. And Jen will read a devotional, and JoJo will say a beautiful prayer, and TD will say some funny things, and it's a good time.
Always have a good time. You guys can follow me on Instagram, TikTok. We got another famous person dropping in. Mr. Justin Butler.
Sorry, I'm late trying on the drive.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Sweetheart. What's good,
How's
my
it going,
doll?
man?
Sorry, I was a little bit late tonight, but that's sorry about that.
No problem, man. We had a great time tonight.
We went deep, Dustin.
Yes, I know you did. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to be here at the beginning, but that's like something popped up, so I couldn't be here. I'm under tornado watch right now, so.
Oh yeah, you guys out there, man, be careful with this weather. Hurricane Arthur is wreaking havoc in the Gulf right now, and it has made landfall already.
Right.
It's not one of the more powerful hurricanes that we're used to, but hurricane season is on its way, and I say like this: everybody, stay.
Yes, I'm trying to. I don't want to get off topic, Tyrone, but hopefully I can say what I got to say and what I got to say.
Yeah.
As you know, I think as everybody needs to know, here recently, the past weekend or so, the HBO Max has been bought out by Paramount Plus. So I'm pretty much sure everybody knows it because it's big news.
Big.
Yes.
I had no idea.
It just happened yesterday. So I'm part of the board. Tyrone knows about this. I'm part of the major boards for the major company, and so I think that HBO Max is now going to be merged into Paramount Plus starting next month. So everybody that has HBO Max will be shut down, and they will be merging into Paramount Plus. So I do not know what the future holds for people for the networks for Discovery, and I don't know what that means for everybody that has HBO Max. But I do know that everybody that has HBO Max will have an account with Paramount Plus automatically. But it's really big news.
Nice.
I didn't expect it to happen this soon.
Right.
But it's happened. I hope we get prepared for it because it's going to happen no matter what we want it to. So, yes, as news into my boss from David Ellison himself, and I appreciate the changes, but I want to get Tyrone's opinion on all these mergers and these companies.
I feel like the mergers with all of these companies right now is because they foresee a day where there is a financial crisis,
right,
that they won't be able to survive. And it's better to unite than be divided.
As well as another news that happened overnight last night. Fox is buying Fox Networks is buying. They bought another network. They bought another company, and they're merging as well. Roku has been bought out by Fox, so as they're merging as well. And it has passed. It finally got they got the okay to merge as well. So I think that everything's going to change.
Absolutely, and the way I feel about Paramount these days. Originally, I had my reservations towards Paramount because they were taking on the DC IP in this merger, and for me, I felt that IP would be better suited in the hands of Netflix at first, because Netflix has so much of that IP already.
Well, Netflix turned it down. I will say that Netflix did get the offer. Netflix turned it down. They said they didn't want it.
I have my suspicions of why, and it ultimately leads back to their financial status over at Warner Brothers wasn't in a good state for Netflix, and they didn't want to take on that burden. Where Paramount is a far more equipped studio to mitigate all of those problems.
Right.
And therefore, I'm like, all right, Paramount, let's see what y'all do with this now.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all gonna now try to use it to rival against Disney? since
Right.
Disney has Marvel.
Right.
We
So
shall see.
my question is anybody can answer this. My question is always is how do you think the future is going to be with all of this merging? Do you think it's going to be a good thing for the company, or do you think it's going to be a bad thing?
It's
Um,
going to be the bad thing for the company that got merged. It always is, because they're the ones that are going to get, like, the employers are going to get axed on that side. Like, whoever, like the
Right.
guys that are working for, who's taking, merging with Fox?
Uh, Roku.
Roku. Yeah. So then all the employees at Roku are probably, well, not all, but a lot of them are going to lose their jobs. The top brass at Roku is probably going to lose their jobs. So it sucks for the people at Roku. I guarantee
mhm.
that. Well, I don't guarantee it, but I'd put
Yeah.
money on it.
And then on the Paramount side of it, Skydance um, has a lot of controlling interest in what happens now with the future of Warner Brothers and
Their networks because they bought
HBO.
they bought the whole thing. So
They bought the whole thing, and my belief is eventually what will happen is they'll go through everything and start selling off certain pieces to other companies.
well, I can say this publicly. They are selling off two networks. They're selling off Nickelodeon
Mhm.
and the they're selling off Nickelodeon and they're selling off Cartoon Network.
Because them taking on Nickelodeon from the whole Viacom side of thing, right? I
Right.
believe that was, and Cartoon
Yeah.
Network from the Ted Turner side of things.
Right. Well, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon was owned by Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Ted Turner sold all of that over to Discovery.
Mhm.
And I was like, what? Like, I had no idea that he sold all of everything
Right.
like he did. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy
Mhm.
to find out on the back end how all of that was brokered. It was rather entertaining to see how it went through. And you know, it took a long time for it to go through too.
Right.
But
Hey guys, I'm gonna jump down
yep.
now. I gotta take my dog out to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Okay,
Pup.
so I'm gonna say
Thanks
good
for being here,
night.
my man.
Thank you for
Pardon?
being here tonight, Amir.
Thanks for being here,
Oh,
my
thank
man.
you again for having me. This was fun. And
Yay.
what was that, Dustin?
I said thanks for being here when I couldn't be. So thanks for being here with Tyrone when I couldn't be here.
Oh
But,
yeah, no problem. You take care and give me a call soon. I miss you, my darling. We
I
got
will.
to
I'll give you a
catch
call.
up.
I'll give you a call tomorrow if you can.
Yeah, okay, I'm home.
Okay.
Okay. Bye guys. Loves and hugs.
Bye.
I don't
Much
know how
love.
to get out of this. Can you
Oh
hang me
yeah.
up?
Yeah, I can hang you up.
Sorry.
You have a wonderful night.
You too. Thanks again.
Bye.
Yeah. So I hope that thing is going well, Tyrone. I hope everything's been going well for you.
Yeah, man, things have been pretty good. I've been waiting for the longest for Sony to drop this doggone trailer for Spider-Man. They finally dropped tonight or this afternoon. It's like, geez, Louise, man, you guys,
They took forever to drop that trailer, didn't they?
what was the problem? The movie comes out next month.
Is it going to be on who? Is it going to be on the streaming service? Is it going to be on?
No, it next month it'll be in theaters nationwide.
Uh,
Was it July 29th or something like that? I think it was. It's near the end of July. Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out. For those that are not aware,
you going to watch it?
I am going to watch this movie because I am a Marvel fan. I have investments in Marvel through Disney, and um, I'm excited for this newest chapter for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Um, I hope it does well.
Hmm.
The I'm a little concerned with them being so coy with this trailer and withholding it for so long that this movie it might not be as good as they think it will be.
Right.
And that's a little scary for me because um we know how much money y'all put into this movie.
A lot of money.
And we know
I seen
y'all need this to pop.
I seen what they. I won't say what it was, but I seen what the prices were.
And I saw the price tag on how much it cost them to make this Spider-Man movie. Y'all need this movie y'all need the hype. And
But I think Disney's going to be in an okay situation. I think they're going to be in a better situation because of the new CEO. So
Mhm.
I think that Josh Jamar, Josh Jamar is going to do the best for Disney,
Yeah.
and that's the reason
Uh,
why I voted for him. So I
I've
hope it.
been I've been curious though of what will Disney try to acquire
Well,
in
ESPN is.
the next
Yeah,
couple years.
I hear that ESPN is a lot of people at ESPN might be on the changing board.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
They're changing ESPN from the top to the bottom. They're changing it, and it's part of
and
me feels like it's for the good because it's gone stale.
I
But
was like one person that's on the chopping block because I was okay to say it. Um, as what's that name? I can't remember his name now, but it was Stephen A. Smith.
yeah,
He's supposed to be on the way out. So we'll see what happens there.
yeah, yeah. Because I think it's more of the ratings
Hmm.
and them not receiving the financial from the advertisers as they
Well,
once were.
I think their most issue is Tyrone. I think it's because the people don't have. I think the future of TV in general is streaming services. I know I don't deal with a lot of I don't deal with the cable. Everything that I have is streaming
Hmm.
services online. So I don't think it's them. I think it's people that don't have the cable bundle anymore, and the people that have their new ESPN unlimited plan is the people that is paying for the people to be on the air. And if people don't like the people that's on the air, they're going to change it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And hey, you know that
Because to be honest with you, I have complained about Stephen A. Smith
a lot of people,
to the company, to myself.
a lot of people have complained about his rhetoric and
Mm-hmm.
uh the
Well,
I'd say
I don't know if you remember.
decisiveness of
Yeah,
the
I
stuff
don't
that he's saying.
I don't know if you remember this time, but it was last year. It was last year when they got rid of Molly Cameron at ESPN. I think the reason why they got rid of her is because Stephen A. Smith and her didn't get along.
Yep,
Because a lot of people don't get along with Stephen A. Smith, and
yep.
I'm included because I don't agree with a lot what Stephen A. Smith says. Yes, I don't dislike him, but I don't really agree with what he says. That's very apparent. That's very apparent at the board meetings that I have
Right.
with the company over the phone. Like Tyrone knows me, so Tyrone knows I don't hold back. So I do not hold back on I don't hold back at all in the meetings, and I don't care what people think. I'm going to say how I feel, and I don't care because if you don't say how you feel, if you hold it in, time really doesn't. It just builds up. You know, if it builds up, if you got a problem with me, come to me and tell me that. But if you got a problem with me, I don't care. I don't care because I'm going to say if what I'm going to say. I'm going to say what I think, and if you don't like it, you can move on.
Exactly.
Because life is way too short.
Exactly, man.
Um,
And I feel like the time is coming for Stephen A to spread his wings and
well,
go out and do his own thing,
he
separate
already
from any
he,
network.
he already has a show on he has another program on it's a radio program on
Mm-hmm.
what's that called now? Shoot.
I heard was it?
No,
It
it's
wasn't I heard. What was it?
uh-uh.
I know what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
recently heard a little soundbite from it over
It's
the
it's it's
weekend.
uh, it's what's that called now? Shoot.
Um, man, where
Like,
was it?
it's on Sirius XM. That's what it's on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's on Sirius. So he's got, and he said he made a lot more money doing that than he did with Disney. So if you're making a lot more money doing that, then do that full time. Yes, I will support you in that because you can say what you want to say on there, but you don't have to you don't have to bring it to the cables because then you bring it to ESPN and you hurt Disney's bottom line, and you hurt my bottom line as well when you're sitting there on the board. You say, if you don't like being there, you don't have to be there. That's the point. If
Right.
you want to leave, you have to leave. I don't understand it. I don't understand these people. Tyrone, you don't see I mean, what I see on a daily basis and what I deal with what I see on these boards. Well, and you would be shocked, and you wouldn't be laugh, and you would, and you wouldn't last but 2 days. But I bet you because I don't know how I do it to be honest.
Look, for me, I would probably be more. Uh, I would probably be laughing more than
Right,
anything because I'm like, you guys are some idiots.
right,
If you think that is gonna bring success,
right. And I think Bob Iger, no disrespect to Disney, other CEO, I didn't. I think Bob Iger was afraid to make changes. I think that he was afraid that he was gonna get in trouble for making changes. But this new CEO, he the gloves are off. He don't put up with it,
well,
and neither
what
do I.
what happened? The changes that Bob Iger was making
Right.
did not uh, push the needle forward. It
Yeah.
actually put things in a stalemate and made some things worse. Like
Right.
the whole concept of Marvel releasing 3, 4 films a year, it ruined Marvel movies
Uh-huh.
because of the continuity, the quality of film and story got eroded by them cranking out so many stories
Uh-huh.
in a year. I got you wanted to elevate the platform of Disney Plus and push it to the masses, but man, there has to be some type of quality control there. And they lost control of it and it went off the rails real bad. Um Mamir says I forgot to mention this point about demons versus aliens in the Bible, God warned and prepared us for demons, not aliens. Just a thought I often had. Absolutely. I have to agree with you on that, Mamir. Because ultimately, I guess in a way, demons are a worse enemy to us than aliens. Demons are here on Earth with us. Aliens are out there somewhere. The X Files. And we have to deal with the Jekyll versus Hyde aspect of demons and what they do amongst us. This whole entire mess. I believe wholeheartedly when there are mass killings, unalivings in this country, they are demonic forces. I absolutely wholeheartedly believe that. And I believe there is a network of them that travel spiritually in a network and target certain regions of this country specifically based off of the karmic energy that was established there when this country was first being birthed, dating back to the colonies, the expansions of the United States. And I believe there has been an absolute battle to maintain that energy in that region because they have been losing the battle over those regions. Just a food for thought.
I agree with that, Tyrone. Wholeheartedly.
And I personally, I worry about the month of July and August and September because I I currently sense a lot of deception and turmoil coming down the pipeline in those 3 months, July, August, September. And by the time we get into October, everybody is going to be so tired of the mess that they're going to miss a lot of the nuances that will affect them in November and December to where people are not going to care what happens in January, February of next year. They're not going to, because they're going to be so desensitized to it or absolutely burnt out mentally on trying to understand why things happen that they're going to check out. It's hard for me, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. It be hard on me sometimes because I am prophetic. I don't operate in the office of a prophet, but I do sense the flow of stuff spiritually, and I'd be like, Lord, help us get through this season.
I do the same thing, Tyrone. So,
and sometimes I want to keep my mouth shut, and other times y'all gonna hear me talk about it because it needs to be talked about.
and I will continue this talk next week because I'm public. I don't want to. I don't know if you're getting ready to get off or not. So.
Yeah, I'm about to go. It has been a night, guys. 3 hours of great conversation tonight, man. I appreciate y'all coming with so much good convo, man. Mamir, Dustin, as always, you guys are welcome to be a part of the show. There's other topics that I'm gonna table for another day, another episode. You guys have been wonderful. Shout outs to the replay crew that comes back. We miss you guys here on the live. I know it's a lot that we're going through and talking, and y'all want to probably speed through it. It's fine. I still love y'all. Y'all are welcome. Y'all are still a part of the Unveiled Vibrations family. Yes, indeed. And Mamir says, thank you again for having me, TD. I had a great time. Had a great time with you, my dear. Well, I'm going to call it a night. It's been a wonderful show with you guys. The gong is sounded. And I'll say to you all, I love you and good night. Arrivederci.